Introduction to Module 2. Welcome to Module 2, Public Tenders, Skills to Understand and Answer Public Tenders. This module will help you understand the procedures and mechanisms in public tenders, being the basis for participation in the public procurement, both ordinary procurement and innovation procurement. The module will also enable you to understand the differences between selection and award criteria, as well as to read tender documentation and to write the winning proposal. The module also includes a description of different aspects of public procurement in the e-health and habitat sectors. The module consists of 5 units with a total of 9 hours of learning time. 2.1 Different procedures used by contracting authorities. In Unit 2.1, you will learn about the procurement procedures regulated under public procurement directives, namely open procedure, restricted procedure, competitive procedure with negotiations, competitive dialogue, competitive procedure without negotiations, and innovation partnership, and when to use the different procedures. You will also learn the key vocabulary of the procedures, and you will be able to distinguish clearly between the procedures. 2.2 Understanding the conduct of the procedure. In Unit 2.2, you will get insight in how contracting authorities prepare a public tender and how they make sure that the tender documentation and the process is transparent for the tenderers. Furthermore, you will learn about the important distinctions between exclusion grounds, selection criteria, pre-qualification, and award criteria, all being cornerstones in public procurement processes. At the end of the unit, you will get insight into some special issues related to time after signing the contract, including the question of when you can modify an already tendered and signed contract without violating the public procurement law. 2.3 Reading a tender. In Unit 2.3, you will learn to read a tender documentation the best way. From getting a clear overview of the subject of the tender to the criteria for participation, winning and fulfilling the contract, making sure that you are aware of all important elements, not only commercial elements, but also elements that might get you excluded from the tender if you do not handle them correctly. 2.4 Writing the proposal. In this important unit, we dig deeper into the elements of the tender documentation that have a direct impact on whether you will submit the winning proposal or not. We look at why it's important to focus on the award criteria and the evaluation model, and what might happen if you don't comply with formal requirements or make deviations from the tender documents. In the second half of the unit, you will learn to prepare the documentation to fulfill minimum selection criteria, initially described in the ESPS, or documentation to fulfill contract obligations. Finally, we'll look deeper into how you should prepare documentation for self-cleaning if your company is or will be covered by an exclusion ground. 2.5 Special considerations on public procurement in the e-health and habitat sectors. In the last unit, Unit 2.5, we start by summing up the knowledge acquired in the previous units in Module 1 and Module 2, going through the public procurement regulation, the different procedures and criteria for selection and award. Next, you are introduced to the term innovation procurement and the abbreviations PCP and PPI, and we look at how and when innovation procurement is used in EU-funded projects. In the second half of the unit, we go through a number of best practices on innovation procurement in the habitat and e-health sector to get an idea of how and why the concept of innovation procurement is used. So, let's get started.